What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Dev Talks with your host Travian. We talk about everything engineering and technology wise. In this video, we talking about some Google. Google's gonna be forced to sell something, and they're gonna be forced to sell Chrome, which is going to be very detrimental to them as a company, and it's kind of crazy. So I want to kind of get more information on this and talk about this some more. I feel like it's a good topic to talk about. So before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out with the algorithm. Really appreciate it so much. Without further ado, let's just dive in.
The Justice Department has formally submitted a proposal to break up Google, calling for the company to sell its Chrome web browser. The Wednesday night filing comes after a federal judge ruled in August that Google was a monopoly in an antitrust case. DOJ lawyers now want the judge to order Google to divest its signature search engine. The Justice Department is arguing that Chrome has given the tech giant too much power in the online search business. Research shows Google controls about 90% of the search engine market. CBS News Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady joins us now in studio for more on this. So, Kelly, break.
Before they go further into that, 90%, I never understood how, I can see how they could say Google is a monopoly because of how they did business and how they were completely able to change the landscape of web search and browsing and all of that. I remember Google first coming out when I was younger. Everybody was on Chrome, and Chrome, yes, where's it bring you? Straight to Google. Even when you went on another browser like Internet Explorer, Bing stuff, you went on, if you used any other browsing website, maybe not Firefox, but a lot of people, especially back then when they were getting on other things, they just went straight to Chrome. I mean, they went straight to Google. They would go on their browser, type up Google. That's the browser that they were using. And they weren't using anything else. Only Chrome. Google. So Google goes ahead and says, hey, everybody's already coming to our site anyways, I'm sure, and said, let's make Chrome. And now that's crazy to see. 90% of people use Chrome. And how did it get to the point? It was already the favored web browsing site ever. And I think if they're forced to sell this, who else is going to either take up Google's like Chrome site? Because Chrome holds so much to it. Like Google, the website, holds so much to it, and they tie one and one to each other. Like Safari, I think even for Apple, looks up Google search, uses Google in some way for its search engine or whatever. So who will buy Chrome if Chrome goes off? I mean, it's going to be another probably big tech company, and they're going to increase their monopoly size on it. Like it doesn't really like make sense for it. Like it is what it is. They built the best product out here. That's like, I don't even know, like what other companies can like say have such a hold on everything. Like I don't even know. I can't even know, but 90, like they get in sued for a good business. That's crazy. That is insane.
Down how the Justice Department wants Google to divest Chrome and what this means for users.
Yeah, so basically they want Google to sell off the Chrome browser. And the idea, I mean, you mentioned how much Google controls of the search engine market. Chrome really gives them, a leg up on doing that. Because if you think about it, when you open Chrome, what loads right away? It's Google. And so they're able to get all of that data. Over 50% of the browser market is Chrome. So they want them to get rid of Chrome. And then there are a couple of other things, because remember, what does Google own? They own Android. And so that's the device that many users use, aside from an iPhone. Chrome is loaded on Android immediately. And then also on an iPhone or some of the other phones, they have exclusive agreements to have Google be the search engine in Safari. So the DOJ wants them to get rid of those agreements, potentially at the most extreme, sell Android in order to, enable competition. What this means for users, if this were to happen, I go on my iPhone, I'm just basically going to have to type in google.com, and then I'd be able to search that. So it's just one little step for the user, but it could be really impactful for Google.
Of course, Google.
I'm so glad she said that, because even if they have to sell Chrome, and they make it where Android won't come on Chrome automatically, the users are just going to get back on Google right off of it. The users, nobody complained about this. First of all, the person who is competing with Google right now is Microsoft and Apple. Microsoft, what do they use for their fucking phones? I don't even know what they use for their phones. I've never even seen a Microsoft phone in person, actually, or anybody who really like had one of those Windows things. Apple, once again, Safari, iPhone stuff. Like, some people even download the Chrome app on Apple phones. Like, I just think most people already have their mindset for Google that, hey, we going to Google anyways. Chrome makes it easier for us. That's the part of when you design something as a business, your job is to make something on the life of customers easier. This is making the lives of us harder if that's the case, or a lot of users harder if that's the case. And that's literally insane. I wonder how much they would even have to sell it for, or sell Android for, whatever it is. But that's going to be tough. That's going to be real tough for them. That sucks.
Google's not going to take this lying down. What are they saying?
They're saying that this is the DOJ pushing a radical agenda. It's going to be bad for consumers. It's going to be bad for innovation. My takeaway here, Lindsay, is of course this is going to impact Google's current business. This is going to be really bad if this happens for their artificial intelligence goals, because that's the future. And all of this data is so important to them getting to that future and being a leader in the market. The other thing the DOJ wants to prevent Google from doing is buying any AI search-related company. So it really would put them on the back foot there.
What is the Justice Department's track record when it comes to antitrust cases like this? Have they been successful in the past?
Not really up until this point. There was a big case, Microsoft, back in the 90s, but we haven't seen something this significant. So they really did get the win with that judge back in August. The Microsoft case, they also wanted to break up Microsoft in the 90s. When it came to implementing any of the penalties and actually breaking up the company, they ultimately settled with Microsoft. So this would be the first time if the judge rules in the DOJ's favor of, yes, I agree with your recommendation. I mean, of course, Google will try and appeal all of this, but this would be very significant if they actually got Google to execute on selling Chrome.
So you mentioned appeals. I mean, how long could this saga last?
Very long.
Okay.
So this is the DOJ's recommendation. Google will have a chance to respond to those recommendations. The judge will then make a ruling in August of 2025, and then Google will have the opportunity to appeal. So we might see this happen in a couple of years.
Okay, so no effects.
That is insane. That's what happens when you see the government versus a tech giant with a lot of money. Like, hey, they out here fooling around with money. They talking about something that can last 2+ years. It can last more than 2 years probably, with all the appeals and stuff. If they're not even gonna, we're talking about this now in November. Next year in August, that's when the judge will make his decision, whoever the judge is. Oh gosh. If you guys, like, before we dive into this next segment right here, if you guys think that this is good, let me know in the comments. Let me know if this will make your lives harder. If you're an Android user and they have to go through all this and break it away, would you prefer this to happen so that it makes your searching harder, or do you want stuff to be easier? And I see how it's going to affect their AI stuff too, because Google's trying to put all their AI features in all of their tools in Chrome, all their every single app that they have, they're going to try to incorporate Gemini into. They've already done it in search engine. They're doing it everywhere else. And if this impacts their search, it's going to impact how they put it up. Like, at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. But there's another video here. I want to see if they give us more light on how Google feels on this, and see if they say anything else. But because we did get something from the other young lady, but let's see if they have anything else to add on to this topic.
Now, just because the US Justice Department could be about to push for a breakup of Google. A judge ruled in August that Google was illegally monopolizing the internet search market. Now, Bloomberg is reporting that the DOJ will ask the judge to compel Alphabet, which owns Google, to sell off its Chrome internet browser. The outcome of the case, though, could depend on the incoming Trump administration. Donald Trump has questioned whether breaking up the firm is a good idea. Tech journalist Chris Stoker-Walker told us there's also a big question around who could possibly buy Chrome.
Yeah, this is a massive business, and Google is one of the biggest companies in the world. So there are very few people who could sweep in and buy what is a relatively significant part of that business. People have been saying, well, maybe Amazon could come in and buy this, although that comes with its own issues. They are, of course, very dominant in the e-commerce space. Others have said OpenAI might be a potential suitor, but then that has its own issues as well, because obviously they're leading the way when it comes to artificial intelligence. And one of the concerns, I think, of the judge here was the way that Google was using its own AI tools to try and build in loyalty to the browser here. So I think it's unlikely that we will see a sale, although there is going to be obviously a lot of tussling over this. Google have said themselves, I think this is a radical reinterpretation of the law that goes beyond what was decreed. And I guess we have to wait and see what's going to come next.
Chrome is such a huge part of Google's business. If Google has to sell Chrome, they are going to tank so far. They make so much money out of Chrome. They make so much money out of all the ads and stuff off of Google, and that is going to hurt them. And you really think about what the last person said right there. If they sell, who is going to have the money to be able to buy them? And those other companies that are large enough to buy them or buy Chrome, the whole product for that, or Android or something, those can cause the same issue all over again. The issue is not going to get resolved or be fixed if that's the cause. I really don't think it is. I think Google and Chrome is just way too popular at this point. Whoever buys it, you're still going to have the monopoly there. Especially if they keep doing good stuff with it. Like with any of the leaders, whether it's OpenAI, any of them. Oh my gosh. It won't change anything. I don't think they're going to be successful with it, because when they notice that, it just is what it is. Like, but yeah, it's not going to change nothing at all. No matter who has it, they're going to have the monopoly for all of it, and or get there one day, because as companies do, they're going to continue to grow and try to make stuff better and simpler, and we're going to be in the same boat all over again. And then what was the point of this process, this 1 or 2 year process? There would be no point to it at any point. Microsoft, they said the Microsoft one in the 90s didn't do anything with it. So without further ado, let me know what you guys thought about this. Put all your ideas or how this may impact you in the comments below. Do you agree with anything I said? Do you not agree? And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Peace.